Hello and welcome. This is Kristen from the Online Selling Show, and I'm going to do a video right now on whether or not you think maybe you want to introduce some wholesale items into your eBay business. I have been selling online now for 22 years. I started out doing the yard sale model, got into what was known as retail arbitrage that didn't even have that type of term back in the day. About 2005, 2006, Amazon really started coming on to the marketplace, and they were introducing, first they were just doing it as media products. Then they started introducing their FBA business model into more other categories, and that's when I expanded into being in the wholesale business model. And I'm going to tell you, for like the last 15 years, I have been exclusively in the wholesale business model, and since 2017, it has been our family's sole source of income. So I have a lot of experience I'm drawing from. I have a lot of places that I've been through with the evolution of the online selling world, and I feel like that makes me more of an authority on this. I hope you would agree with all of this, and I'm going to get into it. I don't really want to get into like anything talking about the FBA model, the fulfillment by Amazon model. I've been out of it for several years now. Various different reasons. If you need to know why, you're curious why, leave a comment down below. I can get into that later in a different segment. Truthfully, it's nothing earth-shattering, but that's where I come from. And if you're thinking to yourself that, that there's a better side to this argument, or that maybe it would help get you with more steady sales or different types of products that would bring people in maybe to your store, there's different thinking on all of this. But having said all of this, one of the first things that you're going to need to take in a step for a business before you think wholesale business is going to be your way. I understand that there's fair out there now. I understand you can go to these trade shows and talk to different people, and they're going to give you different, their sales pitch. I understand all of that. What I'm going to tell you is the first step before you think that that's the level you want to get to is you need to get the tax ID number. And you're going to have a definitive registered name at that point in time. So if you're kind of throwing around ideas and you've been through maybe an evolution of who you are as a business name, that's going to be like the definitive, here is who I am. Not who I think I'm going to be, it is who I am. Tax ID number is really going to solidify things for you, and it's going to put you in a position so that if you do start finding a vendor that you want to deal with, you're prepared to meet whatever needs may come through from them. That would be, in my estimation, step one. Step two, you do have to do a lot of research. You have to do a lot of who is your competitors out there. You have to do a lot of research into who they are as a company, and will they even allow you to resell on that marketplace. I'm going to tell you, I've had many of wholesale companies I brought in that will have no problems with me selling on Amazon, but when I get it to eBay, it's like, no. People still have this perception that eBay is an online garage sale, and there's absolutely no way. I have one vendor in particular I can think of that has grandfathered me to eBay because I've been selling there for so long that when they started to understand the online marketplace, that they've said no, but they understood they had to grandfather me because I have been a volume seller for them, and that's been what I've been doing, and they understand that for them to cut me off from that is going to really affect our business relationship, because I'm going to not be able to order the volumes of what I've been ordering from them. So they've just allowed me. So there is some that you may say, okay, well, they're on there. There's somebody on there with it. Well, it could be a situation like mine where nobody new is kind of going to go on there. And there's people that like to take the business model that, well, they're just going to fudge things a little bit. I'm going to tell you that in the longevity of it, if you need to change and lie or do something that is not what would be your normal run-of-the-mill business practices and stuff, it's not going to work for you in the long run. Because truthfully, you have to make a business decision that is going to be the one that, whether you're talking to your mother, you're talking to the president of the United States, or you're talking to your kids or these business people, you're getting the same message. Because honestly, it just gets too confusing. It's like a lie in anything else, is you got to remember who you told what to. And I'm telling you, business is tough enough. You don't need to camouflage areas of what your business practices are to fit in for one type of vendor to do business. I'm going to tell you, the ones that made those types of rules or expectations typically have not been around for very long. They've been ones that either they started to... Sorry, I'm back. The people that had all these levels of problems and expectations, I have found either they've pushed out all of their third-party vendors, which would be anybody selling on like these kind of platforms, and do it themselves, or they've just faded away, truthfully. The people who are the ones that kind of hear you out and evolve with the marketplaces and stuff, they're the ones that are still standing strong. I'm just telling you. And you may say, okay, well, this is a small mom and pop, and they're not allowing this or whatever. Work with them. Some of them may need some education, and then you can get along with it. But what I'm going to tell you is, where are some of the core differences that if you're going to get into the wholesale business model, where I'm finding the thrifting, I'm just saying thrifting in general, which means to me estate sales, yard sales, thrift stores, all of this I'm kind of putting together, is first of all, you have a different pricing model of what you can do or not do between the wholesale and the yard sale. When you're buying stuff at the yard sale, you can price it whatever you want to price it at. You're going to price it as high as you can go. And the margins in that are so different. I have never seen such a disparity of what you can... you can buy something for $1 and sell it for $100. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know of nothing in wholesale that you're going to buy. You can't buy something for 10 and get like 50. You can't buy something for 10 and sell it for 30. The market's just not going to bear that. You have to keep a real eye out for is that you're not buying it for 10 and somebody's selling it for 12. You have to be very conscientious of who the competitors are out there. You have to understand that a lot of these people have what's known as MAP pricing, minimum advertised pricing. They may tell you if you buy it for 10, you have to sell it for let's say $19.95. So, and if you break those maps, again, you're getting into a bad relationship with your vendors and stuff like that. It's just, if you need to bow down that much to them, then you're doing their business. You're not doing your business. And I'm a firm believer, and I'm here to manage my business. And if their product can't warrant getting $19.95, there's a problem. And that is either that they're paying too much for the goods to begin with. So for me to try to price it at $20, the buyers aren't meeting that demand because there's some pricing issue in there, or they're allowing other retailers to come in and they're not monitoring who the retailers are. And now you're going to get in a price war with one of their other retailers, and you're never going to win with somebody that's another retailer that their only pricing model is to sell stuff cheaper. I'm just telling you, it's just, you're always going to be in this fight with these people. So take a look at that. But you have a lot more pricing situations, more flexibility, I guess would be the way to say it, with your pricing when you're in a thrifting mode than in a retail world. The benefit of a retail world is if you sell something and it sells very quick and it's very desirable, you can reorder that stuff. But at the same time, are you prepared for buying like a case pack of 6 when maybe you're only going to sell 2 in the season? Or it's going to take you a year to sell 6. That means you are now having to pay out that much for that goods and then wait for a whole year to get back. So if something was $10, you had to pay $60 out and wait a whole year to get the extra $60 back. How fast could you have bought something in the thrifting world to make that same $60? That's kind of what you have to stop and think about. Now, maybe you're a person who sells a lot of some kind of metal, something with metal. And maybe you're thinking, well, if I get the metal cleaner, that'll help sell because I can add the two together. Well, that's possible. And that's something that maybe you should look into, is what is the practicalities of what, and maybe you just do a small test run. Maybe you buy 1 or 2 of this metal cleaner off of, let's say, Amazon or something, and you put it up and you wait and see. I mean, you may not make money on that. You may actually lose a little bit of money, but it'll give you the answers as to, is that the level of thinking that the buyers really would do? Because maybe they'll sell it like immediately, and now you're saying, okay, fine, it opens it up, let me go try it. One of the other things though is that even though you may say, okay, well, I'm willing to do this case for $60, their minimum order amount could be $500. So it's kind of like, if you only wanted to get 1 case, they're not going to sell you 1 case. So now it becomes, how many more other products do I have to bring in to get to that minimum of 500? Or even if it's 300, am I going to want to spend 300? And I'm telling you, wholesale is a lot more cash outlay than you would ever spend in the thrifting world. It just is. Because, you have to pay the goods, and then you have to pay the shipping. And I'm going to tell you, shipping has become like so crazy, especially since COVID. I mean, I had shipping rates, and then they were charging a premium of like 5% on top of that to cover, because of the way the market was getting so hot and crazy with their shipping costs. So say all that, that's part of it. They don't have a perfect world. They don't have, a forecaster that's going to know exactly. There's a lot of times where they may run out of product, never to get it back in, or it's going to not come back this season, or it's going to be 3 months to get it back in. So that becomes part of the issue too, is that just because you think, I want to reorder this stuff. I can remember one company, I had brought in a brand new product. It was hot to the market. I had never had so many people wanting to find out my location to come and buy it and pick it up for me and everything. And I'm telling you, there was like droughts of like 2 months in between shipments, because they just were not able to keep up with the demand and forecast for the demand. And it was great. And I wound up they fell off my radar, truthfully, because it got to a point where I was selling and I was fielding more inquiries, and when stuff's coming back, that it just fell off the radar. I had so many other products I was ordering that it just wasn't coming around. And I kind of feel like maybe I should have stuck with them, because I was one of the early people to get it onto Amazon for them and stuff. But if I remember correctly, I think they maybe started to put their own stuff on Amazon, and I think that may be part of why I got out of that too. It's been years. But I don't want to say it's not possible, because obviously I've done it. It is possible, but it's a whole level of expectations that you have to know from the beginning, whether or not you want to take, and like I said, you got to store this volume of the product. You may say, okay, well, some of them are going to give me terms, and that's true. They're going to give you the terms, but then it becomes are you sure you're going to have the money to pay that bill when it comes due? And it's a good thing for you to start building something up for credit with your business. I'm not saying that's not a good thing either. So there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons. And it's just what level of expectations you think that wholesale market is going to bear to you. And it's like anything, even in the thrifting model, that you have to check your prices periodically to see, is other people now out there advertising the product and lower? Do I have to do anything? And I'm going to tell you, you don't really have as much room to do things like the promotions with the coupons and the discounts and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, some of these companies will not allow you to run their stuff in a sale or a discount, or they'll limit you. You may only be able to do like their products like once a year or twice a year or once a season. So there's a lot more rules you have to maintain and follow over and above the platform's rules and all that kind of stuff, and what you want to have as a business practice. But obviously, like I said, it's been my family's sole source of income since 2017. It's doable. It's just what you're wanting to do with what it is. And I don't say that it's a bad idea if you could find something very complementary that fits in with a product niche that you already have. So if you have more questions, I'm sure there's tons more questions. Please don't ask me for, who I'm dealing with, how I got my product. That is all. There's tons of videos out there for product sourcing. You can do all that. honestly, I have been dealing with the same people for so long. I haven't even been like bringing on, I am not even looking for new brands. And that's part of what's going on with the networking. There's ways that you can do that. So I would appreciate some comments if you're questioning more in the theory of what it is, not brand specific. I'm not going to get into brand specific because I'm in no way even out there currently looking for these data of how to assess a new brand, truthfully. So I am not that person to ask for brand information. But if you're into theories as to the differences between the two, you know, how to strategize for the two, that's by all means, I would be more than happy to help you with that. And I would appreciate if you could leave me a thumbs up if you got some good information out of this. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye for now.